Well, I've been living in Shanghai with Wuming for the last 3 weeks. I want to show you a bit of an insight into life here in China at the moment, and in particular 3 things the Chinese government have done to control the crisis that I think would be pretty hard in Britain. It's not all sunshine and daffodils. I'll talk a bit about the darker side at the end of the video. The Chinese government collect an immense amount of data about their citizens, and they're using it in novel ways to tackle the coronavirus. Every time Wuming and I want to leave the apartment complex, she's got to scan her face, and those images, as well as the images from all the CCTV cameras in China, of which there are about 200 million, are fed into a central database and then analysed using machine learning. So it means basically if you're in sight of a camera with about 5 on this crossroads, then it's likely that the Chinese government have analysed your face and know where you are. Another big source of data is the WeChat app. You might have heard of it. So that's WeChat. It's social media and your debit card all rolled into one super app, which is really convenient, but obviously also tracks. So the state know where you are, what you've bought, and what you're saying to friends. That's just the status quo, and the Chinese people generally know about this. The images you see are actually from the state media. But they're using this data to try the highest tech epidemic control ever attempted. So if you get ill in China and you go to a hospital, the hospital will register with the authorities, and the authorities will pull your name down from this big database. And they have an algorithm that will be able to tell you all the different places that you've been in the last 14 days and all the people that you might have been in contact with. So the bread that you bought with the WeChat app, the baker now will be notified that they have to self-quarantine for 14 days. And the people that you were next to on the flight, they now have to self-quarantine for the next 14 days. Every single citizen has a code, red, amber or green.
I guess you are yellow.
Why?
Why? Because you come to Shanghai, not have 14.
Check this out. What does Bill Gates want?
Eventually, what we'll have to have is certificates of who's a recovered person, who's a vaccinated person, because you don't want people moving around the world where you'll have some countries that won't have it under control. Sadly, you don't want to completely block off the ability for those, people to go there and come back and move around.
Okay, I'm going to play that again, guys. Listen to this. He's suggesting we need to have certificates for people who have recovered or been vaccinated. Certificates, like papers, an ID saying you've gotten the vaccination or you've recovered.
Eventually, what we'll have to have is certificates of who's a recovered person, who's a vaccinated person, because you don't want people moving around the world where you'll have some countries that won't have it under control. Sadly, you don't want to completely block off the ability for those, people to go there and come back.